I recently read an article about how 30 to 50% of the games that come out in Germany get exported to foreign countries, which means that a lot of games never make it over here to the United States unless someone imports them. So what we have here is a game called DruidenWalzer, which, you know, roughly translates to something like Dancing Druids or the Druids Dance. And it's a card game for 2 players where you are controlling a team of druids that is playing music at each other, trying to gain control of some trees. And that's about as far as the theme goes. I'm going to set it up and show you how it works. A disclaimer with this one is that since we don't speak German, we did the best we could to sort of interpret what the rules say to do. So just take that into consideration, that we might get a few things wrong, but we felt like we got the spirit of what the game is trying to tell you to do out there, so hopefully this works out. Alright. Alright, so this is what you get with DruidenWalzer when you open up the box. Is this nice instruction manual that's completely in German and nothing else, but it does have pictures of the things that you want to do, like setup, and that's extremely helpful. So at least we've got that going on for us. The insert fits the components pretty well, actually. We're going to pull out these tiles, these cards. Dump the rest of that stuff out there. Alright. Here's what you're going to do for setup. You're going to take these big tiles here, and you're going to put the moon here, and you're going to put the sun here, and you're going to take each player's respective trees and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's your playing area. And you could certainly space these out more if you wanted to, but it doesn't really matter. For the purposes of what these tiles do mechanically, they are where you're going to put your discard piles. So the moon player is going to discard his cards here, and the sun player is going to discard his cards here. The game comes with 30 cards each in the 2 player colors. There's little icons in the corner that show that that's the sun player and that belongs to the moon player, so you split the decks up. For setup, you're going to want to take a number 1 card out of each deck and stick it on the discard pile to start. So we'll do that real quick. Once you do that, you're going to want to shuffle each of the 2 decks separately. And then you're going to want to deal 5 cards to each tree. Only the 5th one, the one that's on top, you're going to reveal like that. So once you've dealt out the cards like this is what it should generally look like. This is the fairy ring. You're going to put that in the middle, and we'll talk about how that works in a second. The moon player goes first, and so what they're going to do is they're going to select 3 of their 4 trees and put druids on them, and we'll just do that, and then the sun player will do the same. Each player is going to have 3 cards off the top of their deck. And then they'll have sort of a reserve of cards remaining. During the game, if at the end of your turn you have no cards in your hand, you can draw 3 more cards off the top of your deck. If you don't have enough cards in your deck to draw, then you'll take everything that's in your discard pile and shuffle it together and make a new draw deck. So there are 3 actions you can take in DruidenWalzer. You can play a spirit card, discard a spirit card, or move a druid. Playing a spirit card is going to be the main action of the game and what is going to be what most people are doing. What you do there is you're going to take one of your cards from your hand and you are going to play it on one of your 4 trees that you have available. Let's just say I do this. So whichever one you play it at, you're going to take the top card and turn it back face down, and then play your new card there. Now, here's what this is going to do. This is going to activate all Druid cards with a 3 on it, which can be this one and this one. Discarded, the cards that are on the discard pile don't get activated, so ignore that. So it's just these 2. And then they're going to move 3 spaces in the direction indicated by the card you just played, which in this case is counterclockwise. So this one is going to go 1, 2, 3 and end up over here, and this one's going to go 1, you count the discarded tiles as a space, 2, 3, and end up here. In that case, the card I just played gets put down, and this one that I just moved there is now the top card. This 2 that I'm covering up is going to get flipped down, and now this is the top card here. And then any cards that don't have anything face up, you're going to flip something so that there's a top card on the pile now. Another thing that happens is wherever you played a card, you're going to take the fairy ring and put it on that tree space. And we think the rules say that it's more fun to put them onto the cone piece rather than on the tree itself. Do whatever you feel is the most entertaining to you. So, what the fairy ring says is that this tree is safe and a conflict cannot occur here. So now we're going to talk about what a conflict is. You'll notice that there are 3 colored druids for each player. And anytime someone chooses to play a card, after you've resolved the action of moving them however they move based on the card that gets played, you're going to then resolve conflicts based on what numbers are now at those spaces. And the conflicts are not a straight across thing or the number of trees, it's the color of cones that are on trees. So, in this case, these 2 purple will have a conflict, these 2 black will have a conflict. Orange will not, though, because the fairy ring means that this one is safe, therefore this one can't get into a conflict with it. So nothing happens here, but we're going to resolve these 2. So between these 2, there's a 4 here and a 1 here. So 4 beats 1, so the winner of the conflict is going to take one of their pieces and stick it on the tree where they won. And they're going to also discard the card that they used to win that conflict. Reveal a new card. Look at black here. This one's a 5 and this is a 3, so this one's going to get discarded. And we're going to put one of those pieces there and reveal their card. So that's how conflicts work. In the case of a tie, then nothing happens and you just move on as if no conflict happened. So what's the point of these 2 symbols here? The goal of the game is to subvert 2 of your opponent's trees and convert them to your own color. The way you do that is by getting 6 of these placed on a single tree, which means you win 6 individual conflicts. The other way to subvert a tree is if at the end of a turn, if at the end of the player's turn they have no cards here, they then have one more turn to get another card placed here, and if they don't, then that tree will automatically subvert to the other player's color. So anytime a tree gets cleared of cards, you want to make it your priority to make sure you get a card back there on your next turn. Otherwise, you're going to lose that tree regardless of how many pieces are on it. When you subvert a tree, you just clear everything off of it and flip it over. You take all the cards that were attached to it and dump them in your discard pile. As soon as any one player has flipped 2 of their opponent's trees, then the game immediately ends, and they win. So as I mentioned, there are 3 actions you can take on your turn. The first one being the playing a spirit card and all the things that come with that after you resolve a conflict. That's all contained in that first action. Alternatively, during your turn, you could discard a spirit card, and what that means is you take one of the cards that's still in your hand and you just drop it right in your discard pile, or you take one of the cards from any of your trees and move it over to the discard pile like that. And if you did that, then you would reveal the next card that's face down in the pile like that. This is an action you'll probably take if the cards in your hand don't really help you at all. So playing a card would actually help your opponent more than help you. Or if you're trying to sort of reposition the numbers on the cards that are left in front of you. The third action you can take is to move a druid. And all that is you just take one of your druids and move it over to a different available tree. You can only have one druid on a tree at any time, and it doesn't matter where the druid is, it's just you just move it to another available tree. I want to make sure I'm really clear with how the discard tiles work, in that these are always counted as spaces. So when you are resolving any card's movement, you count these as if they were trees between the 2 rows. So if we're moving 3 clockwise, it would be counterclockwise. It would be 1, 2, 3 like that. If, on the other hand, I were to play this 4 like this, which would activate other 4s that are available, the discard tiles don't activate, so this 4 here wouldn't move. So in this situation, if I played a 4 there, that's all that would happen.
So, you are first if you'd like to place your druids, sir.
I'm the moon!
Because you are the moon.
I'm just going to place them where they're...
You're just going to place them there?
Yeah, there's no strategic...
Well, I'm going to do that. Now, the symbols at the bottom of the tree don't mean anything, do they?
As far as I can tell, they don't.
I always wondered if they were like points, you know, if different trees were worth different amounts.
The game ends as soon as someone subverts 2 trees, so it doesn't seem to care which trees get subverted.
Yeah, I don't know.
You could probably make something up to involve those, or maybe the rules say something about that.
I really just don't know.
Yeah. I think it's there just for setting up...
Just so you know which tree
symmetry?
goes where.
Yeah, I don't know.
So there you go. Go for it.
Yeah. That blows.
Well, I mean, you're in a really strong position for forcing me to discard a bunch of cards. Okay.
Go before and put it in my discard pile.
Oh, you played a 4. Okay.
Yeah. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then we have battles, and you win with the black and the purple.
Yep, and you lose those 2.
You lose those 2 cards.
Black and purple.
Yep. Those go into your discard pile,
Sorry.
not mine.
I'm used to my discard pile being on that side.
Yep. And reveal your 2 things, and there you go.
Well, at least I'm not going to lose big cards there. Well, let us see. That way. Okay. Yeah, I'll do that. So I'm going to play here. A 4, so your 4 ends up over here. 2, 3, 4, yeah. And then the fairy ring moves to here, and I win black and purple again.
Mm-hmm.
So this 5, 3, 4, 5, yeah.
And that 5 goes 1, 2, 3, 4,
5. Okay, so black stays.
Purple wins, and who knows what happens to orange. I win.
Okay, so yours gets discarded, and then mine gets discarded. Let's see. So this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ends up here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So orange continues to be in balance.
Your black wins, and your purple wins.
Okay.
That's my turn.
Okay.
So my druid decided to come dance at this tree instead.
Mm-hmm.
Because it wasn't getting any love.
Yep. So orange remains balanced and black wins. And I get 3 new cards. Okay. What are the odds of throwing a token and it landing edge on like that?
Yarr.
Okay.
Purple wins.
Yep.
Discard that purple card.
Yep.
Put a token here. Draw 3. Well.
Is it good stuff over
Yep.
there?
Letting everyone at home know just how good my hand is.
I will. Tough choices. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move orange to here.
That's what that means.
Oh,
too.
okay. I was like, why did you throw a 2 at me?
Purple wins. My orange beats yours.
Yeah.
And your black wins.
Yeah.
Tokens here and here.
Wow. Okay.
Which direction are they going?
This way. Yeah. Yeah, so that gets revealed, and then those all go there.
Okay.
Okay, so...
Purple's immune.
Yep.
Your orange wins.
Yeah,
and your black wins.
Yeah, yeah.
Subverts this tile. Did you put an orange thing on here?
Yeah, I just put a token there.
Okay. We want to reveal what's on your orange.
Oh, sorry.
And discard a card.
Okay. Okay. So that does not initiate conflict.
Right, that's all it does.
I'm going to play a card.
Okay, move the fairy ring there.
Yep.
And orange wins.
Yep.
That's all that happens.
Yep. Okay. Yep. So orange is immune.
Purple's tied and black is tied.
Black is tied also, yeah. Okay. Okay, so I move a Druid. Okay.
Your purple wins.
Yep.
And your orange wins.
My orange wins. Okay.
I draw 3 cards.
Yep. One, two, three, four, 5.
Oh, I'm sorry. All of these. This isn't a space.
Oh, that one
anymore.
doesn't
This should
count.
all
Yeah,
be in
that
my
all gets
discard pile.
discarded. Yeah. Yeah.
So
So it
it's
ends
here.
up there in orange.
Yeah. I don't think that's ever affected anything.
No, it hasn't. It was just now happened. Okay, so you win orange.
Yeah.
And
That's it.
Okay, yeah. And I get new cards.
You win that one.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then, yeah. So then I win orange.
That's it.
Which
1,
direction?
2, 3, 4.
Okay. So this is on purple here.
And
okay, so
I beat black.
Yep, so I lose here. Okay. Okay, I will play here. So you win purple.
I'm going to discard the card that's in my hand.
Okay.
Shuffle all these
Shuffle
together.
all those.
Draw 3 new cards.
I will discard this card. Okay. I discard this card.
Purple wins.
Yep. Black wins.
Yeah, I have to play that.
Okay.
I don't want to bother drawing 3 cards. I'm pretty sure you just win.
Because I'm just going to win now.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I play a 5 here.
Which moves my 5. Which direction?
This way.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah. And then
Subversion!
Subverted. Okay. DruidenWalzer!
That's how Druids dance.
Is that how they dance?
Yep.
I think it's DruidenWalzer. But maybe not.
Oh, how to pronounce it?
Yeah, in German.
I don't care.
Okay. DruidenWalzer!
The Druid dance. Dancing Druids. It's a 2-player game.
Yeah.
You can play it with 2 people.
You can only play it with 2 people, in fact.
You might be able to acquire a second copy of DruidenWalzer and modify it to play with more than 2 people, but...
So... I mean, it's a pretty deep puzzle strategy game.
Yeah.
You know, just trying to figure out how you're going to move your cards around and get the conflicts that you want without winning too many times so that you deplete your forces. I don't know, what do you think?
Unless you want to deplete your forces because you want them to end up in your discard pile so you get them back.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in there, and mechanically, it's pretty decent mechanically.
I think this is a good game for people who don't mind that sort of sit there and take all the time you want to figure out the best move possible.
Sure. That kind of play in silence, counting in your head, trying to figure out, okay, if I play this, I'm going to move everything. Okay.
Because everything you do, for the most part, is going to affect several other things. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are very small instances where you play a card and just nothing happens, but usually you play a card and it affects the entire playing area, and so you have to sit there and run through.
Okay, all of these cards move, and then this is where those cards will be, and then these druids will have conflicts, and then I will win these things. And then you realize that you counted it all wrong, and you've just ruined everything, and you lose the conflict.
I mean, I don't know. A couple times it seemed to me, because I'm not willing to sit there and calculate the best move possible, I'm more interested in just getting things moving. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I just do a thing just to get something done, which is not how you're supposed to play this game. Yeah. I'm just like, you just scored on my move because I don't have any idea what I'm doing, kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. So I think, this game, it's old. It's not likely to get a resurgence in popularity anytime soon.
Yeah, it came out in 1999, and I don't think I would have ever heard of it if we hadn't gotten a copy of it.
Yeah. I'm a fan of just random obscure games, weird themes. This is a game about opposing druids, night and day druids, having a sort of a dance off to own trees. Yeah. So it's really just odd what you're doing, and I think if someone really wanted to invest the time into becoming a grandmaster at DruidenWalzer, they could. This could be a game where, because I think it's mechanically sound enough, I think if you have 2 people who are, super into it, they could have, this, brain off at each other to see who is the better strategist with what they're given, kind of thing. There's still an element of luck to it, so it's not like...
Yeah, you don't know what you have face down at the start of the game, and it could be all junk. Yeah. Or it could be all your good cards.
You could deduce it based on what you see come up, but, So it's not like so pure strategy that it's like chess, but it's in that same field of being that kind of strategy game.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is not my game, but at the same time, I don't hold that against it. I think it's perfectly fine as a strategy game, especially if you don't have a lot of alternate options for two-player pure strategy games, you know?
Art-wise,
I think it's fine.
I don't really like the art in this game at all. Like, I think the art on the cards is just not very good. I mean, it's 1999, so you're kind of judging it by higher standards than that by playing it now, but I don't know, I don't really like the art on the cards.
I've seen so many, like, worse games.
Sure.
Like, I'm just like, well, it's fine.
Sure.
It doesn't bother me while playing it.
Okay.
And it wouldn't detract from, if I liked everything else about this game, the artwork wouldn't put me off. So I think if you see the game and you think mechanically it looks interesting to you, you shouldn't be put off by the artwork. The components are interesting with the wooden cone pieces and the fairy
and the
ring.
little fairy ring,
You put
yeah.
on the cones and the big tiles for the trees.
I guess it's worth pointing out, like, if you do know how to play DruidenWalzer, this was our best guess at the rules.
Yeah, we went ahead and just made some general interpretations of what we thought was made the most sense. There's the theoretical possibility that we were wrong, but no one else has made a video about this so far, so...
And there's not a lot of, like, rules clarification out there. So, you know, if you own a copy of the game and you are pretty fluent in German...
and feel like
if we're doing things wrong, you know, you can tell us that. We would love to know that so that we can fix it.
Or just make your own video.
Indeed.
As far as rating goes, I think I'm fine with keeping it the 5.75 marker, which is what we gave when we initially played it.
Yeah. I think 5.75 is pretty good for it.
I don't foresee me ever giving it something higher because I don't want to play it.
Yeah. Mechanically, like, I don't think there's anything wrong. It's just not a game that we enjoy.
Yeah.
I guess that's it.
Yep.
I was waiting for your Druid one-line.
I was gonna... I don't know.
You drew a blank on it?
I can't think of anything Druid-related to say.
A dance-off related one?
Quote from Footloose.
You've been served.
Is that Footloose?
No.